What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Rob, back with Neel. We're here for Hooked, Episode 2. We've got a very special guest on who has quite the entertaining story. He is Neel's boy from back in the day when Neel lived in Wisconsin. Neel, I'll let you introduce our guest, Johnny Zakowski.
All right. This guy, Johnny Zakowski, unlike another two-time state champion we have on this podcast, he is a one-time single state champion from Wisconsin, 2021 Summit League men's tennis champion from Denver. He is a four-time team champion. He is a four-time All-American in 2 years, a three-time regional champ in 2 years, and absolutely no academic honors achieved in his 5-year college tennis career. So think of our last guest, Nick Aney, with a little bit more maybe athletic accolades, minus all of the academic accolades.
With that being said, we will welcome him to the stage. Johnny Zakowski, great to have you.
That was actually a very good introduction. Nick and I,
Thanks.
that's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I will say for the viewers,
Thanks
a
for
couple
having me,
of those
boys.
All-Americans should have never happened, but we'll get to that, a little bit later. All right, how you been? How you doing? What are you up to right now?
That's a good point. Dude, I'm doing well, man. I just had to do that 23-hour drive back from Florida. So I'm back in Wisconsin now, back home for Mother's Day. It's good to see the family and stuff. But yeah, my tennis career has officially come to an end. So no more tennis for this guy. But I'll still be around the
circuit. Was it a little sad?
Dude, it honestly, it really didn't hit me it didn't hit me hard. When I got off the court for the last time, it was kind of just it just kind of happened. And I didn't really feel I didn't recognize the fact that oh my gosh, that was the last time I stepped on the court and I played my last college match. So I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously planning on being the grad assistant for Florida Gulf Coast in the fall. So I'll still be around the tennis scene. I'll still be helping out a couple of guys in Green Bay, getting ready for their, college experience with tennis. But,
Nice.
right now it's just kind of taking it all in and, still seeing what the next steps are going forward. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I know we do have to bring it up, unfortunately for us. The Warhawk men's tennis team just got a big victory this weekend. You were at the match. Any shout outs you'd like to give to your boys that just had a good end of the season?
That was, they lost to Denison today, 5-1 in the regional final. True. But we got to give a shout out to Luke Van Donsler, our number one singles player, clinching against Marco. But it was a great match. It was really close, and it was a fun match to be at. I think it was, GAC and Whitewater have had some good battles this year. So, yeah, it was just good. It was just good to be a part of that and see it all unfold. But go Hawks, man.
How does it feel? The 1 year Whitewater beats GAC twice is the year that you're not.
It's the year that I'm not there, bro. Maybe that's the way. Yeah, honestly, I mean, I don't really think I had them. I had success against GAC in the fall, but then in the dual season, especially that 1917 loss to the Mr. Neel route, that was tough to take, man. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how many match points I had, but that was ridiculous.
Do you remember a certain call in that match that you maybe hit a big serve that was very much so in, and you got the little finger wag from Mr. Neel route, and the ref went with it? I do want to bring that up quickly since we're on it.
I do want to bring up.
I'm honestly the thing is I would be mad in that situation, but since I know Neel and I know how he plays and I know how he I don't want to say he's a cheater, but at that point in time he was. But you just got to live with it, man. That's the way it is, bro. There are a lot of people out there that aren't honest, and Neel's one of them. So it is what it is, bro. It is what it is.
Oh, all right. Start. Okay.
Now you guys know why the name of the podcast is Hooked, because it started with our very own Neel route.
Oh, wait till we get to the stories at the end.
Anyways, we'll get right into it.
Okay.
For the viewers that don't know you as well as we do. Walk us through your kind of college tennis career path after high school. You were a 3-star, 4-star, and you committed to Denver, and then walk us through the next few years where eventually you ended up as a 5th year at FGCU.
Yeah. No, definitely. It was like my high school tennis recruiting experience was, I'd say, pretty. I mean, it was just different than a lot of other kids in the fact that like I played basketball, baseball up until junior year of high school. So like I really wasn't committed to tennis until the summer going into junior year is when I started playing tournaments, and I really started focusing on the fact that I wanted to play in college. And one of the reasons why I did was because I like the individual aspect of the sport. The fact that you can win on your own, but you can also lose on your own, but you don't have to like, worry about your, teammates helping you win. It's really just up to you. So I chose tennis, and I think it was my, my senior year, like winter break of my senior year. I was still undecided as to where I wanted to go for tennis, but I was really close to going to Gustavus. I was really close. I had taken a visit there. But I remember playing this level 1 closed down in the University of Notre Dame. It was a big tournament, and I just went there. I wanted to compete. I didn't know what coaches would be there. Sure enough, Denver was, and also Western Michigan, but I wasn't looking to at any of those schools personally. I was just there to play my tournament and, see if I could get some good results. But I played really well. And then, the next day, Denver, the coach reached out to me, wanted me on an unofficial visit the following week. And I took it, fell in love with the school. And then next thing you knew, I was committed to the University of Denver for the fall of 2019. And it was a great time. I had a great time at Denver. I think the team was great. I think the guys, the connections I made, and just like the intensity of Division I out there was something that I hadn't experienced in high school. Because like in high school, I really only played high school tennis, and like I would train on my own. So I wasn't like one of these like tennis academy kids that a lot of guys at the D1 level are. They're used to, being homeschooled or just, spending like 5-6 hours a day on court. So when I first got there, like I was pretty shocked with like the whole training regimen. I was, you could say I was like kind of far behind just because I wasn't used to the intensity of practice. But it definitely helped me a lot because it helped me grow as like an individual out there. Just like with all the practice time, but at the same time, I wasn't getting any. I wasn't getting any matches because I wasn't at the, I wasn't in the lineup yet, because I was probably like, at the time I was probably like an 11.5 UTR. And I think our power 6 were like, I'd say the average guy was probably like a 12.2. So
damn.
I don't know. It was,
Denver
was tough, but
you guys were like top 20 or 30 during that time, right?
Yeah, no, bro, we were good. We started out before COVID. We were like, we were 12-1, and we were our team was. I mean, we were experienced. We had a lot of juniors and seniors in the lineup, and we just we found a way to win. And we had really good coaching, and we just had a really good team culture. I felt like that. The guys, my teammates, we just thrived in, and it was really unfortunate once COVID hit, because that really changed not only like the tennis there, but like kind of like my whole tennis career trajectory. Because once COVID hit, it just wasn't the same. Like we came back that fall, but we weren't really practicing because everyone was getting COVID, and you had to quarantine. You really couldn't. The regular the guidelines in Denver for COVID were so strict too. Like as far as not even like just like going out, or as an athlete, you couldn't do any of that because you'd easily get in trouble and they'd suspend your team from play. So, like my sophomore year, it was kind of just like a blur because it was just there were just so many things that were out of your control, and we honestly didn't know if we were going to have a season, and we ended up playing probably like probably like 15 matches, 16, like just a shortened schedule. But I never made the lineup. So I also wasn't on scholarship there. And so after my sophomore year, as much as I liked the guys and as much as I liked, the university, the location, like I have nothing bad to say about Denver. Denver was great. It wasn't the fit for me tennis wise because, I wasn't getting any playing time and I wasn't, I just didn't have any results. So I knew, I think the best thing for me going forward was I wanted to go to a school that I could play at. I wanted to like be sure that, as much as I'm practicing, I want to see like some results. Cause I mean, we would be going hard for like 3.5 hours a day out there. And it can be kind of defeating, especially confidence wise, when you're working really hard and you're not seeing any results. You're kind of like, oh, what's my purpose? I'm sacrificing so much. And it was tough to take, but at the same time, I realized, hey, I could enter the transfer portal. And the reason why I kind of settled on Whitewater was because it was closer to home. I knew I could play. I have, family in the area. So it was like, I know my parents could always come and watch me play. And I also liked the fact that I knew the guys on the team just from like being in Wisconsin, being in the Wisconsin area. And at the same time, I was kind of like burnt out of like the D1 aspect of like the sport of just like always grinding, always like, sacrificing your summers. Cause like from my standpoint, like I grew up and I was playing multiple sports. Like I was never like just simply like a tennis kid, and so like that's the reason like Division I college tennis kind of like shocked me in the sense of how much of a time commitment it is. And I knew at Whitewater I could balance like, the academics with the athletics. I could figure out, what my career path was instead of just only focusing on tennis. So that was kind of big for me. And like I had offers to go other places in the country, but I also just felt like at the same time I just wanted to be closer to home. I just felt like I'd be more comfortable. And I settled on Whitewater, and next thing you knew, I was playing ITAs at Gustavus.
And I think one thing that people like Neel don't realize, it is different when you don't, walk in and have a spot in the lineup. It changes your view sometimes of, all the effort you're putting in. Some guys like Neel, they're just a guy when they come on campus, and so I think I do kind of understand that message a little.
Some guys come on campus and just slip on ice and hurt their back for the whole year and complain for 2 years. So.
Dude, that happens, bro. That happens. That happens. Dude,
all right, so
that's funny, bro.
So let's get to your right away. You show up at Whitewater and you just started having some fireworks. Am I right?
Yeah, man.
How did it start?
How did it start? It was looking back on it, like it was honestly it was easy, but in the moment I felt like it was a big adjustment for me, just because I came from such an intense program in Denver, and all the guys there, they had the mindset of, oh, I want to go pro, I want to play tournaments after college, and then I come to Whitewater, and it's different, you got guys that they have different, they want. Everyone wants something different out of tennis. Some guys do it just, for their hobby. They like to do it. Other guys actually have a passion to win. And then there are guys there that, do it for like the exercise, it seems. But exactly. So it was tough because like you had so many guys that had different goals or different desires out of tennis. Yeah. And so like getting used to practice was different. Not everyone was committed in the same way. Or like had the same, desires to really do better. But when I went to Whitewater, I found out, okay, well, it's not going to stop me from my personal success. Like I can do it on my own still. Like I can use a ball machine. I can do extra serving practice and stuff. And so it took a while to get used to the adjustment, but I felt like, especially once the spring season came around, I was, I just kind of felt like I was ready for it because I kind of took what I learned out in Denver and all like the sacrifice I had to go out there because it was a lot and it was tough. It was, a lot of backbreaking work, but I took that mentality and I brought it to Whitewater and I tried to make the most of it. It's kind of like how I saw it.
Nice.
But yeah,
I remember. So you mentioned like some people do it for results, and I have a friend named Rob, and he plays tennis solely as a way to win awards and get recognition. And in his tennis career, he's done it all. He's double state champion 2 times. That's why we call him 2-time.
Let's go.
He's brought the team to the Elite Eight last year. He's done everything you could think of, except he's never gotten an All-American award. And we are here with someone who stopped him from getting that award 2 times. So 2-time here is he's a little
wow.
It's a sore subject, but the first time he was about to get it, I heard it was a pretty eventful match, some eventful line calls in front of the umpires. So just take us through kind of like maybe shout out your doubles partner and just take us through that match basically that day. And you don't have to hold anything back. This podcast is for the people.
No, so. Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to like figure. Okay, I know the match. All right. So shout out.
He doesn't even remember you, Rob.
Yeah, it wasn't even a match.
No. I do. No, bro.
I replay it
every day, doubles.
but he doesn't even remember.
It was the doubles semifinal, right? Doubles semifinal, right?
Yeah.
Who's your partner? Was it Daniel?
Dan. Yep, Dan.
Okay, Dan. Okay, yeah. I don't remember. Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't really remember too much about the match. Like, but I do remember it was obviously very close. You know, and like. Was there a break of serve? Did anyone get broken? Because it was a tie break. I remember.
Yeah, so you guys broke us right away, and then we broke back early on, and then after that, it was just serves.
Yeah, it was just serving. And I remember like, I do remember some of the questionable line calls. I do think that ref looking back on it definitely favored us.
Thank you.
I will say that. Like I'm not gonna hide that because like I think it's true. Because like a couple of like the overrules were basically off of serves, right? Weren't they off of serves?
Yeah,
I know. Like
what happened was
like one of my
serves. It's hard to call serves. Especially when you're like Johnny and you serve 120 miles per hour.
Yeah, man. You just got to get better contacts, you know. That's the way it is.
And how did the match end?
So I remember.
You don't even remember,
bro. No, I don't remember. I remember match point, but I remember like there was an overrule, but I don't know what the overrule was about. So if you can enlighten me on that.
Yeah, basically what happened, because I think about these calls a little bit, not as much anymore, but
as you
at
should.
least during my time.
Okay.
Basically what happened early on in the match, it was a big serve. I'll say we because, you know, when it's 2 of you out there, you're both making the call. But we hit our guy hit the return and then missed the return and then kind of called it out. So that probably had to go with the reason why the official didn't really believe it. And that happened twice. Both of those balls, I will say, I thought were out as well. Maybe I just have bad eyes. And then in the breaker, we had match point at 6-5.
Yeah.
Another big serve, same thing, hit the return, and then calls it out. I will say that one, unfortunately, might have caught the line. And then then what really happens is 2 guys
that makes it 7-6
purple,
though, right?
Yeah.
No,
2 guys in purple started jumping around like monkeys going to the official.
Okay. Now you're refreshing my memory. I do remember that.
Oh,
I remember going up to the linesman and I'm saying that's the third overrule. You know, that's the third overrule, so that's a point penalty.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to say anything else because she was so nice to me that she's like, "Yep, all right, Whitewater, up 7-6." And then I think I don't know if you were serving or Daniel, but I remember Daniel hit a T serve. I hit a serve. Forehand cross court or something. I hit a decent return, and then and then like I know Gray tried finishing the point off.
Yeah.
And that's how we won.
Yeah.
But that was wild. That was so wild. Wow, I forgot about that. That's crazy. But that wasn't as bad. That was not as bad as when we were down 5-9 last year. We were down 5-9 in the Super Breaker.
Yeah, to
gauge goal and like Drew. Yeah, that that had to be tough, girl. That had to be tough. I actually want to. extend my condolences for that.
Oh shit! What a shout out. Okay, all right. So let's fast forward 2 years. Zakowski dominates D3 tennis for a couple of years, and then I remember I was at work one day.
Midwest D3 tennis.
Midwest D3 tennis,
Okay.
yes. And then I remember I was at work one day, and my brother FaceTimes me, and like we barely like call each other or anything. I'm like, what's going on? I pick up the phone, and it's your face on it at FGCU's campus. So you tell us about
dude.
I heard FGCU had some events this year. Maybe give the people what they want and take us through those events.
Yeah, no, for sure. So like me like getting recruited by FGCU, it was kind of like just being at the right place at the right time. Like the coach reached out to me and offered me a spot on the team. And I'm just like, hey, you know what? I got to do this. It's a crazy, it's, you know, Florida tennis, obviously, if anyone's familiar with the college tennis circuit, I mean, Florida's the hotbed, you know, it's the state to play in and, you know, everyone's good there. So, and I just felt like it would be a great opportunity for me to, you know, go out one last time, have one more year of eligibility and play at a school that's, you know, it's warm weather all year long and a great place to play. So I go to FGCU, and the coaches knew there as well, Coach Davidson at the time. And, you know, it was a great, it was an experience, bro, because you have 8 freshmen coming in and a new coach. So there's a lot of pieces and the puzzle's not put together yet. So the fall was definitely a learning experience for everyone. You know, we had some good results at some tournaments. And it was, you know, we just had a lot of guys that, you know, like to play hard. And I felt like overall they did a really good job as freshmen. But obviously I didn't play in the fall. I had to be a volunteer assistant because I just wasn't eligible for the fall season because I was recruited late. So my main, you know, I start playing in the spring, and that's when things go crazy because we come back from Christmas break and we find out our coach has been suspended for some, you know, violations with the school or whatever. And I don't want to go into too much detail about it just because, like, I know the NCAA is still investigating the situation, and you know, it was just what I will say though is that it was a crazy time for us as a team, just because not only were we really young and inexperienced with, like, you know, college tennis, you know, we still had a season we had to play and we didn't have a coach, and so then we get this interim head coach Mateo Ruiz, and he was new as well, like, because our assistant coach in the fall had graduated and moved back to his home country of Colombia. So it was a struggle at the start of the season, especially just because no one really knew what their role was. You know, again, we just had a lot of missing pieces, and like, it's tough when you don't have your coach there. And so, yeah, I mean,
at this point, was Mr. Coach fired? Let go?
So at this point, like, all we're told, this is coming back from Christmas break, because, like, we're coming back from Christmas break. Everyone on our team's thinking, hey, you know what? Like, this is going to be a great year. Like, we're going to get after it. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have fun. Yeah. It's going to be a learning experience because everyone's young. You know, obviously 8 freshmen out of 10 guys. Like, you know, there aren't any expectations, especially with a new coach. But once we all get to campus, one of our teammates has like a text message, and it says like, hey, coach has been suspended for these violations in the fall that dealt with one of the former players at the time who was on the team. His name was Harrison Gold. But there was disputes between him and the coach, you know, and so I don't want to get into any of that because that's not, you know, I don't have any business in that, but regardless, go ahead.
Without getting into any of that, can you like get into some of it and just like, sweet, and just talk about maybe like just like give us like a really like bird's eye dumbed down version of like kind of what happened.
Well, I will say that A dumbed down version. Yeah. So coach is allowing. I don't know. I don't think I can, bro. I don't think I can, because if I do, once I start, I'm just gonna go on, and it's not gonna end well.
Let's just say
that was my goal asking that question.
If
yeah,
if
like
you were
I know, like if I start, I'm not gonna stop. But yeah,
did some things have to deal with like similar issues that have happened in the NBA with all this, you know, gambling potentially going on, sports
Yeah.
gambling? Did like I know that's become a problem across many different leagues. Did that somehow trickle into college tennis a little bit?
I mean, like I I guess you could say like there was like some gambling, but it's not the gambling that that happens with what people genuinely do. Like when people gamble on sports betting apps, or putting money on the line for whatever app they use. But if you're just like like let's say I challenge Neel to like a 1v1 basketball.
Oh, nice.
Like let's pick up 1v1, and let's put $50 down. I think that sense of like gambling is different than like putting money into something that obviously has a very low chance of actually being rewarded. But like I mean I don't like it how you use the word gambling in that sentence, because it's just like I never saw it as that, but it did happen. So whatever.
So like if you were gonna compare the situation to like an NFL or NBA player situation, or you can combine them, because you can compare it to several different players. Like you want to drop in just like you want to drop what NFL players plural would you compare it to?
Gosh, oh bro, I gotta think about that.
Maybe in terms of the player, maybe from the player side or the coach's side.
I mean,
Neel, you want to push him in the right direction here?
I mean, at the same time, like there's so many coaches that get fired, dude. Like, I don't know.
Maybe then the player's perspective. From the player's perspective, then. Is it a Calvin Ridley? Is it one of the Porter brothers, or I don't know, Joe Mixon?
Dude, you should have asked me this. You should have asked me that you were going to ask me this question, because I would have had some time to like.
Nah, here on Hooked, we keep our interviews.
Yeah, I can tell
on
it's pretty cutthroat. Okay.
Yeah.
Right now I really don't have an athlete that has the same like situation that or a coach that has the same situation that Davidson had. Like, because I don't know of because coaches like in the NBA, they just get fired for sucking. Like they suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like Davidson didn't suck. Davidson was awesome.
There are coaches that get fired for knowing things and knowing it's probably not right to maybe allow certain players to continue engaging with their team, and then they maybe get let go because of that. Does that maybe align a little bit at all?
Is there someone you guys have in mind?
I don't know.
We just want to hear
in mind for that one, but is that idea? Is that like a
similar
idea of what was going on?
I definitely get that. I don't. I would just have to like think about like sports coaches and stuff. I mean,
no. Forget about the coaches. Just the idea of say a coach maybe knew some things and maybe knew that he probably shouldn't allow a certain player to continue engaging in practices, matches with his team based off of the things he knew. Could that maybe get him in trouble?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I'm just trying to like think of an example that is similar, but as of right now, nothing's coming to my mind, so I have to pass on that. Okay. But it was I mean, if I think of something, I'll let you know though. I'll let you know, because that's a good question.
We'll have him back on once he.
No,
yeah.
Investigation
if just continue this, if they can.
Hey, also, future head coaches that want an assistant coach that will like play dumb for them and see things happen. You have your you have your perfect candidate right here on this podcast. You couldn't grow
There we
anything
go.
out of him.
There we go, man. Absolutely.
Ride or die.
Keep it secret.
I was going to say to get us back on track a little bit, I guess we don't want you to dive into too much information if it's not possible. But so anyways, you have all of that going on behind the scene. And then the season starts. How do the players take, especially 8 freshmen? It's not usually a situation that probably is dealing with that very well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Once season here, wait, is the connection still there?
Yeah, it's good.
Sorry,
it is for me.
cut in.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like as the season like played out, because it was just interesting. So we obviously get the news that he's suspended, but all we think is that he's just going to be suspended. Like he'll come back in like 2 weeks or something. Like he'll do whatever he has to do, and he'll be able to come back with the team. But obviously that wasn't the case. So we start our season, and everyone's just like still trying to find themselves as far as like who's going to be number 1, 2. Like we don't really have a set lineup, so we're just throwing people together and whatever. And it was it was difficult trying to win, but like that's it makes sense when you don't have a head coach, you don't have guys that have been in college before, and everyone's kind of experiencing it for the first time. But it was like, even through all the stuff we had to deal with off the court, like we still, as a team, we had a great time. I think just bonding together and still, doing the best with what we had, I felt like was a big thing. Because although our record, I mean, I don't even know what a record was. I know it wasn't good, but like I do know that we were one of those teams that we weren't defined by the record that we had, because we could compete with some of the best schools in the ASUN. We would also lose to some of the worst schools in the ASUN. So it was one of those things where it was definitely like a roller coaster type of spring, just with all the guys and everyone being new, and then realizing, I think in like mid March that Davidson's been fired. Now that's reality, it was kind of like, okay, well, now we just have to make best with what we have. And it was more so just get through the season and make sure like nothing else bad happens. That's kind of what it felt like. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I have like might be a dumb question, but like you played at Denver and you played like the schools in that region sort of, and then you played in Florida, the schools in that region. Was there like, would you say like, was there like a difference in style maybe, or just a difference in tennis in like the schools you played there, or how would you compare that?
Dude, Neel, now you're asking like good questions, bro. Like that's actually good. It's a good question. No, honestly, like I think there is something to be said about that, because in Florida, like everyone's used to playing outside. Like everyone plays outside, and then out in like the mountain region, everyone's used to playing indoors, and like I wouldn't say like UTR that there's like much of a difference in UTR. I will say I think the Florida schools are probably more top heavy in their lineup for sure than some of like the big sky schools that we played. But I mean, I think the mountain region, like it's a lot of guys are just used to the big serves, playing indoors, especially in Denver where like it was in altitude, because we had to use different balls. Like we had a high altitude balls, and like that's why I switched from Wilson to Babolat, is because like Babolat gives you more shot tolerance and stuff. But yeah, I mean that's kind of like, but I wouldn't say like the better UTRs are in Florida versus like in the mountain region. I think it's just it's a different environment. That's kind of what it is. So
I guess kind of along those lines, you said when you went from Denver to Whitewater, it was a bit of a change because you went from high intensity to maybe not as much. How was the change going back to Division I and trying to get back to that intensity level?
Yeah, I think it was for me. I think it was easier because like this time around, I knew what to expect, and I felt like I had prepared myself. But I think also at the same time, like at FGCU, and it was tough because like we had our coach, but then like once our coach got fired and like the spring season came around, like the intensity at practice wasn't like always there because our coach in the spring was just so busy like getting our schedule set for like our away matches and stuff, and it was he just had his hands full and stuff, so like it wasn't so much focused on us or like our intensity on like conditioning and stuff. It's more just like making sure the practices are run smoothly and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I felt like at the same time though, like I was still I was in good enough shape to like know like, okay, yeah, I can handle any conditioning that they throw at me just because
So you're mentioning like the coach having to do a lot of things and like the intensity at practice.
Yeah.
So when you're an assistant coach next year, like you got any like cool things you're gonna do? What's gonna separate you from all the other assistant coaches out there?
Dude, yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna like, oh my gosh. I mean, I want to have a relationship with my team where it's like, I'll be a hard ass on the court, but then I'll be like a bro off the court. But as long as like, but I'll like, you gotta earn that respect. You gotta give 110% on court, because like what a lot of these guys don't understand is that I think like they don't realize that like, and I think you guys know this too, especially now being in the working world, like tennis practice is like easy, like it's easy to do, like it's easy to just show up on time and work your ass off for like an hour and a half or like 2 hours versus like there are guys that work 60-hour work weeks in the real world and stuff, and like if you put stuff into perspective. And that's what I'm trying to do, like, as a coach, I try to mentor these guys and be like, you only have 4 years in college. You don't want to regret, doing anything, having a bad practice and stuff, because, the two things you can control are your attitude and your effort. So if you can do that, man, I mean, you're going to improve one way or another. So, yeah.
Dang, what a message right there. That's
nice.
That's a good one-liner right there.
I mean, dude,
do we want to end it on that message, or I had one more question, but it's kind of a dumb question.
Dude, come on. No.
Fire at it.
Fire. All right. So you played doubles with several Indians before, right? Probably 2 that I can think of. So one dude named Ninad and me. Okay. So let's say that you were like, let's say you need to win this doubles match. Like you have to win it. And who would you rather have as a partner, me or Ninad?
Okay. So the thing is, Neel, is that when we played, bro, like we were both not doubles players. All right. We can safely say that. You know what I mean? And like the thing is, Nini, bro, like you guys both don't have like the big serve.
Nini.
And like the thing, dude, yeah. What? You don't call him Nini? You just call him Nina?
Yeah.
No, you call him Bubber, don't you?
Bro, we're Team Wisconsin, bro. We're Team Wisconsin. That's what we go by.
We're Team Wisconsin.
But yeah, no. I'd probably have to say Ninan. Sorry, bro.
Okay.
He'd be so solid at the baseline, and just like, I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I mean, when we played, I didn't do much either. I wasn't that good, but Nini can always put the team on my back and carry me to the finish line. So
fuck. Damn.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know,
that's respect.
Brother.
Yeah. That's respect to you though, bro. I mean, come on. You made him the tennis player he is today. So, yeah.
Oh, all right. On that note, I don't know if I have anything left. Actually, I do have one more question.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, let's hear it.
When you went from D3 to D1 or D1 to D3, what would you say is the biggest difference in stroke that gives you like the players that you played at D1 compared to the guys you played at D3? What do you think is the stroke that really sets them apart, or is it just overall consistency in the level of play? Obviously, you're gonna have. I'm talking more at the top end of D3. Like you played one single, so you played some of the better guys there.
Yeah. No, totally. I think I wouldn't really say it's just one stroke. I'd say it's just a collection of like your ball striking and your footwork, your movement. I think it's honestly, I don't think it has to do with the stroke. I think because I think the best like D1 players and like the highest of D3, you'll find that like they are very good at movement and positioning and like setting up the point. Like I don't think it's necessarily like a big like forehand or like a big back or a big serve even. It's more so their movement on court and how they can adapt from being on the defense and turn it into offense. I think that's probably the biggest difference between D1 and D3.
Fair.
Yeah. So, yeah, guys.
Well, I guess Neel, if you don't have any more questions, you want to give us one more one-liner to kind of send us into the finale of this episode? And do you have anyone that you would like to see on this pod with a interesting story that we could bring on that you know of or that you've heard of and think would be an interesting guy to talk to?
Maybe people in interesting situations or
Oh, are you asking me that question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Who would be on this podcast? Ooh.
But that's like some crazy story something.
Does it have to be it has to be tennis related, obviously, right?
No, honestly,
no, just go ahead. Sport. Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Man, someone on this podcast. Gosh. Okay, but I'm only thinking tennis right now, so I'm
all right.
I'd have to say like, oh man. Let me someone with a good story.
3 different teams over a few different years.
Played a lot
teams
of other
played.
Teams. Yeah.
Intense moments.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like, I think they're all like a story that. See, I don't know. Right. I'd have to think like.
All right, maybe just give the people like some words of wisdom. Some words of wisdom before we head out.
Some words of wisdom as far as being good at tennis or like
whatever's on your
mind.
Man.
Whatever's on your mind.
Whatever you got for us. You're going to be an assistant coach in the fall. What do you got for the people?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a tennis player, just bro, I don't know what you want me to say about this. Like, I don't have like, I'm not like a genie that just like comes out and like gives wishes or whatever. I don't know.
Just repeat the little thing you said about giving effort and attitude.
How about that? Yeah, effort and I mean those are obviously big, but you guys should try and get like a professional player on this podcast. So like,
I have one. Like, I have one lined up. Believe it or not.
What is it?
Well, you'll have to tune in to the next episode.
Dude, come on! Are you serious right now?
I'm dead ass. Yeah, I have a pro lined up.
Okay. Well,
all right.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, yeah, I got nothing else to say. Guys. But hey, it was a great time. I appreciate you having me on this podcast.
Yeah, no, thank you for being on. We'll make sure the story gets out to the people, and we'll look forward to seeing what you do as an assistant coach at FGCU in the fall.
Yeah. Go ahead. If you want to see more of Johnny Zakowski, you might catch him on our other podcast, which Rob will link in our description.
I would like to be on that because then we can just talk sports. That would be great.
Yeah.
We'll get you on that.
No, I appreciate it, guys. No, I appreciate it. All right.
Yeah, thank you. All right. See you guys in the next episode.
See ya. Peace.